Hey guys, Jason here. Just wanted to give you kind of an update and an overview on Ableton in worship and how you can utilize Ableton to really beef up your songs, regardless if you're a three-piece band and have just three people playing, or if you've got a full-on onslaught of instrumentalists, complete with brass orchestra and the whole nine yards. These are ways that you can help to really change the dynamics of what you do as far as a worship team. And one of the tools that I like to use for that is Ableton. Ableton Live comes in three different packages. So you've got Ableton Live Intro, Ableton Live Standard, and then the full suite version. Most people can get by with one of these two here, with either Ableton Live Intro or Ableton Standard. Ableton Live runs you around $100, and you're looking $300-400 for Ableton Live Standard. Ableton Live Standard has some perks to it in that you can actually layer more tracks with it. You're not limited on the number of tracks, which is helpful if you want to break apart songs. I know I'm talking ahead of myself right now, but just know if you're looking at it and thinking from a price standpoint of, man, it's only 99 bucks for intro, maybe I should just get that. If you're just trying to try it out for a bit, there's a free version, a free 30-day trial for the entire package. Go ahead and grab that instead of worrying about just spending $99, because believe me, once you really start looking at using Ableton and getting good usage out of it, you're not going to have enough space with the $99 version. So that's just my opinion. I know that we'll agree to disagree. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open up my Ableton set here. And you're going to see some things right off the bat here, how I've kind of got things broken up. First and foremost, I want to get you to do something for yourself here. These clicks all come courtesy of the music director at North Point Church in Atlanta. It's a great, great church. I want to tell you exactly how to get there. So if you go to google.com, because of course, hey, help me Google that, and type in Ableton and worship, and then type the word template behind that. Make sure you spell it right, not like me. What I'm wanting you to look for is this link right here, the crash course Ableton Live and Worship at North Point. This is Ree Grevin's blog on WordPress, and man, this guy is just great at being able to give great knowledge on it. So if you scroll, certainly take the time to read the article because it's got great stuff, but scroll to these first links here and you can see MPCC Ableton template regular full version and MPCC Ableton template Ableton intro. So if you do go with the light version of the intro, then you want to grab this one, otherwise grab this one. Once you download it, you're going to get some files that are going to have all kinds of just great stuff in it. For instance, these clicks that are here. These clicks and these count-offs help you to be able to hear exactly where you're going in the service, and that's really what we use Ableton for. For those of you that are a little experienced in Ableton, you can kind of see how I've got mine set up. I've got a subgroup set up that has a MIDI click, has a click in there, and also has counts. And when we say counts, that's where you typically hear intro 2, 3, 4, things like that. Verse 2, 3, 4. These pads and these shimmers, I want to try to arm you with as much information in this intro about what to download so that you can start. These pads come from padloops.com. Let me go ahead and go there for you. Padloops.com is a great resource for you to be able to grab some great pad loops. Shaylin is just a phenomenal guy. He's got various websites that are all dedicated to helping worship teams out. So grab these things here. It's well worth the money to use it. These pad loops have just great sound to them and give you the ability to launch them from an iPhone or, in this case, an Ableton. I'll give you an idea of what that kind of sounds like. So if I'm playing in G, let's listen to this. See, that's just basically what we call a pedal tone. So that pedal tone is playing in G the whole time, and you could actually play on top of that. If you give me a minute, let me grab a guitar. All right, so let's take a listen to just playing. We're in the key of G, so if I'm just playing with a guitar. Real peaceful, but at the same time, if you were to add a pad loop to that, you get a more full sound like this. So as you can see, as long as I'm playing in that key of G, then I can play all kinds of chords and it still resonates the same. So that's kind of how you can already thicken up your sound just by that resource alone. Another resource that I want to show you, there are 3 websites where you can really gain a lot of stuff from. Padloops.com, I've already shown you. The other one is loopcommunity.com, which has just some phenomenal tracks for you to be able to use. And the third is multitracks.com. Multitracks has something that you're really going to want to pick up, especially if you're a team that said, man, I wish I could have that Hillsong United sound. Well, guess what? If you go to patches on multitracks.com, it's going to bring you to these top bundles. And right now, one of the top bundles that's on here is the Droffs. The Droff is just, everyone wants to idolize him as far as guitar. Yeah, I used the wrong word for that, didn't I? But man, he's just phenomenal at what he does. And these give you all kinds of ambient guitar tracks that you can utilize just to thicken some things up. You can see each one of them are 7 minutes long. You've got ambient pad drones. You can use it as a transition or just a soundscape for live performances. And let me show you what that is. So we're already in the key of G. So let me go over here to Shimmer and let's look at the key of G. So each one of these, and you'll see them here in my, let me close this up. Close up that group and just open up the Shimmer. You'll see all these different groups: high Lex, high sky, high, low Lex, low sky, low, mid Lex, mid sky, mid, and then a mix. Mix is just what it sounds like, a mixture of all of these together. Yet at the same time, you've got the high reference, the low reference, and the mid reference relates to the reference of where you are playing on the neck of the guitar. So a little lower, if you've got a song that's naturally in a higher octave, you may want to bring a lower tone to balance it out. And this, the Lex is just a reverb. Sky is just basically using these same sounds and funneling through a big Sky pedal from Strymon. So it gives you a different sound. So let's take a listen to what these sound like. So for instance, here's a high Sky in G. So using their same reference from before, so you can kind of see how that's utilized. Now, one of the things that I do in our list, if you look over here on the right hand side, you'll see at the very top we've got pads, and these pads are done in various keys. And then we have set songs. These are the songs that we would use in a set together, and of course this marks the ending of a set. And then we have our master song list, just has a bunch of different songs in there that we can drag and put into our current set list. So let's go with the same thing that we've been doing and go into G. And what we see here is that we've got our pad and we've got Shimmer. Now right now all of these are on, so it's going to give you a mixture of all of these. But one of the things that you've got over here is your click. So in Ableton, the cool thing about Ableton is that there's a feature called warp. So if I've got warp set on these tracks, for instance this one, you can see warp down here, and this is another reason why you want a standard or above in Ableton, is because you can do complex. That means that as you are playing, you can actually change and adjust the tempo of the song without it adjusting how the song sounds. Does that make sense? You can play a song and it doesn't sound so bad off, like there's a little pauses and hesitation. So by launching from over here, you play all the tracks that are in this row. So I want you to hear what it sounds like with a click. Now you may say that click's a little fast. One of the reasons why I keep it fast is because it's always better. A good trick to do if you're doing clicks and anything, if you have a slower song, make sure you do your clicks in double time. It's harder to get off beat if you're subdividing in your head. So instead of thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, think of the song as being slower 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're thinking in your head 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it'll keep the team on a lot safer grounds. I'll go up here to where there's count-off bars, because these are another thing that are sent by Reed and his team from North Point in the template that you download. If I were to start say the B pad, you see that there's a 1-bar count-off. So this is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you would start the song from there. So those are kind of cool, and you can use that to keep your team on group. The other thing that's kind of really cool about this is that if I go in and either right-click and go to rename, or I can also go to edit launch tempo, or I can hit Mac R or Apple R to rename it. But what you do is you go in here to this area and you reset this tempo. So let's say we want to go to 100. Hit return and then hit play. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you noticed, everything still is in sequence. The count off has increased, and I haven't had to do anything but change this. So again, we'll go to rename and we'll give it $1.40. Oh, I'll make sure we get a space in between that and the BPM. Also, make sure that you either put a semicolon behind what the name of the track is, or put 3 spaces in there. That way it can identify the proper BPM. So now we've got a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. So see, it increases everything here. And again, that's because we have warp on, and it makes it to where these tracks work well. So just to give you an idea of how you can actually utilize all these things here, if you noticed, I've got a pad in behind Shimmer on We Believe, but I want to take you over to another place, one of the last places I want to give you, and that's Loop Community. You can go to Loop Community here, search for songs, and download what they call master tracks. So you actually have all the stuff that's used on the tracks themselves. For instance, let's just look up Matt Marr. So here's Matt, and here's the listing for master tracks. So we can click on Christ is Risen, and you're actually going to have the actual track that Matt used in the studio. So if you play this, here we go. So you can see that you have a track listing for an acoustic guitar. That was interesting. All right, acoustic guitar, some cues, keys, strings, bass, drums, percussion, click, EGR. So what that actually is in here, you'll see whenever I expand this, let me go ahead and close this down. Where's We Believe? There we go. We Believe. I've got all the guitars out, and what I've got is some percussion in there, full percussion kit, and you can see that there's some loop stuff in there, no background vocals or anything. But if we were to play this, it's going to play those in.
Intro 2, 3, 4. Verse 2, 3,
so you can hear how that would
4.
go. So you can see how that would work. Well, guys, that's the intro and kind of showing you how I've got the lay of the land for our Ableton set up. Check back. We're going to give you some videos on actually how to get this all set up, including how to run it to your board where you can hear it clicks properly and other things. If you've got any questions, make sure to leave a comment on the video or on the comment section of the website. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.